One of my first jobs in TV was as a runner on a youth magazine show, and we're out recording one day. It's a remote location, and the presenter asked for a coffee. I've brought a flask with me, but of course she can't drink the instant shit that I've brought along, so sends me off to get her a Starbucks. And like I say, it's out on a remote location, so the nearest town's 15 minutes away, so dutifully go off, find a Starbucks, come back, and of course it's gone cold, because that's what happens with hot fluids over time. She has a massive go at me and even tries to get me sacked. The last time I saw her, she was waving her tits around in some lad's mag. Fucking bitch.
I asked internet animator David Firth of fatpie.com to come up with an animation for us, and he did this.
So I'm thinking of going to that sandy-coloured planet tonight.
I've been there before, my friend. They aren't interested. They just don't care for it.
Well, at least I can try.
I don't much care for that. Alright, you, whatever you are, leave.
What the fuck? Why do I have to leave?
Duke's orders, mate. Duke's orders.
Duke? Duke? He's not a duke. Look at him. He's chewing things.
Well, dukes need to chew too, mate. Get lost.
Fine. Fine, I'll leave. But first I'm going to bother these peanuts. Hmm? Yes? Hmm? Hmm? We really don't mind. It keeps us on his toes. To hell with this bar. They just don't care for it, do they?
They don't. They just don't.
Yes, well, the upside to being the talent is you get blowjobbed unconscious every weekend, like I obviously do. The downside is that suddenly you're a rage magnet for the viewer at home. If your show's shit, the viewer's not going to scroll through the credits and blame the production team. No, they're going to blame you personally. It's not easy being likeable on screen, as I'm proving right now, but is there anything I can do about it? To improve my chances, I went on a crash course with presenting instructor Brian Naylor.
That would be pretty solid, although I might sort of just bend my knees a little bit. That would be solid. What I'm trying to avoid is people doing this or moving their way.
See, I do that all the time.
Yeah.
Here I am rocking about on last week's show.
Also, stop yourself from travelling, which is when, you know, it just shows you're a little bit nervous and you're going backwards and forwards.
I do that too. Yeah, look at me here, jigging like a prick.
Keep eye contact with the lens, okay, of the camera. In fact, some presenters do pop a little picture under the camera.
Really?
Yeah,
that is psychotic.
So every time you take your eyes off that lens, what you're actually doing is making the people who are watching at home feel that they're missing out on something.
Like they probably did last week when I kept doing this.
Have you ever heard the phrase up on three?
Yes.
Okay, that means what you want to try and avoid is to be looking at my hand, or the stage manager's hand as they count you down, and then on one, when it points to you, go, turn around with a smile. Because it is false, it looks completely rubbish. 5 seconds, 4.
All right, well, coming up after the break, we'll be looking at A4 paper and A3 paper. What's the difference?
Was that real? Did you believe that?
I felt like I was exaggerating.
Too much.
Yeah.
The first thing, unfortunately for you, is if you smile, it just doesn't look like you're reading. So that's bad for autocue. Oh. Okay?
So I mustn't smile, but
No, you must smile. You smile.
I must smile.
Yeah, because
okay,
you don't want it to look like you're reading.
Right,
Yeah?
okay.
Remember, you are controlling it.
Right.
Not the other way round.
I am the god.
Of the autocue for that little bit of time.
For that moment.
Tiny little bit.
I'll get drunk with power. Coming up next, we'll be talking to people that can communicate with the parallel universe. Do they have a gift, or are they plain insane? I'll see you after the break.
You don't need to express it quite as much
now,
as
if you
did.
can get a shot of the autocue, there's 3 bloody exclamation marks there. Look at that.
Also, what you do at the end as well, just to tell everybody that you finished, is you like this. You just do a little with your foot.
Like at the end of a song, where old-fashioned songs where it go ba-dum-ba.
Yeah, that's it, like that. Not completely necessary in this day and age. The director is the person who will tell you when you've finished. You keep that persona until you hear cut or clear. There are things you need to work on. I mean, a lot of the time when you're talking to the camera, I don't actually think you're enjoying it.
Right.
Just relax, enjoy what you're doing.
Well, thank you very much.
No, you're welcome.
Cheers.
Cheers.
With Brian's advice lodged safely in my head, I decided to take what I'd learnt and teach some wannabe presenters the tricks of the trade.
Hi, I'm Kelly.
Hi, I'm Jerome.
Hi, my name's Chrissy.
I'm Andy.
If you put your legs slightly apart,
Shoulder width.
you anchor yourself, so you're kind of just, just slightly easy, slightly relaxed. Important thing is not to do what I'm doing now, which is to move around too much. Look down, stare into that sort of unforgiving dark glass eye, as though it's a friend. On 3, you've got to be ready. You've got to be up, you've got to fill yourself up, you've got to be ready to go in 5, 4, up on 3.
Hello, I'm Andy Wooding.
5, 4.
And
I will stop you there. You weren't up on 3.
Right.
Are you going to take this seriously?
I am. I'm trying to.
Right. Okay, we're going to go again. I was deliberately being a bastard that time. Yeah. You see, because this is what producers are like. Sometimes you'll have to deal with somebody who's going to go, "What the f*** was that? What the f***?" You are in command of the auto cue, not the other way around. 5, 4.
Hello, I'm Kelly.
And you're watching Culture Bench. Coming up on tonight's show...
David Jason tells Mark Lawson why he's convinced there's no such thing as bread.
And meet the man who shocked Canterbury by having sex with a duck.
He says the moment he hammered a stiffed one through its hot yellow doors, God shook his mind by the hand. We'll be finding out if it's true.
And the late Hermann Goering leads us on a guided tour around the National Museum of Infanticide.
Now, I would say that you hit that last word like a master. If the word infanticide must be bandied around on television, that is the way I want to hear it.
I had no idea it was so difficult to present.
I think it was quite a positive experience. I learned quite a few things, obviously, from someone who is such a good presenter. Well, coming up after the break, we have a discussion about rainbows and whether there really is a pot of gold at the end. We'll see you soon.
Okay, and break.
Here's American comedian Reginald D Hunter to tell us what he thinks of British television.
Rumpel bears a story about this lawyer who's approaching old age and looking back over his life and recounting his adventures or his misadventures in the British legal system. I found out about Rumpel when I was in the States. I was 19, I had been done for shoplifting, and the lawyer who got me off hired me right afterwards, and he turned me on to Rumpel. Rumpel was one of the things that made me curious about coming to Britain. It was through the Rumpel stories that I heard words that I never heard before, or phrases I never heard before.
The hillside dew-pearled, the larks on the wing, the snails on the thorn, God's in his heaven. With any luck at all, there's a little crime going on somewhere in the world.
The thing is, 19 years old, living in southwest Georgia, I found myself trying to imitate Rumpel, which, didn't go over all that well in the hood.
Yes, Hilda?
Some of the thoughts Rumpel would have aloud about marriage and about his relationship with Hilda, his wife, who he referred to as she who must be obeyed.
She who must be obeyed.
There was a scene in Rumpel and the Man of God where his best friend George Frobisher brought his new girlfriend over to have dinner with Rumpel and Hilda. And the girlfriend keeps complimenting Hilda on the wonderful glasses that they're drinking out of.
Lovely.
When I first saw this, years ago, I didn't know why Hilda was offended. But now, since I've been here for a while, I know that the compliments, no matter what their intentions were, they felt like an insult. And that is uniquely British behavior.
It is customary, isn't it, at this stage, to leave the gentleman alone?
Oh, you mean you'd like a hand with the washing up? Of course.
I'm gonna try to tell you what Minder's about. It appears to be this guy who is the bodyguard of an East End, not quite gangster, but a real shady cat. When I first sat down to watch it, I thought, okay, I ain't been in the country long. I learned something about British culture watching this. There's this thing called Cockney slang, which is real peculiar to me. Even now, I've been here 9 years and it's still peculiar to me. Just, you know, where's Joe? He went up the apple and pears. What? Apple and pear? Stairs. Why can't you just say fucking stairs?
He stuffs an individual fruit pie into his north and south. That's not on, is it?
One of the things that was frustrating about Minder for me was I kept thinking of, you know, Terry dealing with Arthur, and I just kept thinking, well, just tell him no and walk off.
Me? Sleeping there? Leave it out.
Just say no and just walk away, and he would never do that.
You must be the Good Samaritan who's volunteered to keep a watchful eye on this chap.
Well, no, actually. No, it's me.
Minder was quite a little dude. I mean, he wasn't no big cat, you know. When he deals with rough guys, he could just grab somebody by the lapels and throw them up against the wall and go, tell me what I want to know. And they go, okay. And I was like, but Minder's smaller than him. Rumpel and Minder and Rumpel. Two lovable, possibly just likable losers.
God, there's just too many channels these days. There's even a channel aimed at people who've just banged their knee on the coffee table.
Oh, nasty.